Wonderful.
All right, so I'm waiting for it to zip through to my machine. While we're waiting for that, 5 o'clock and call the order Conservation Commission meeting of November 2024. And attendees are Michelle,
Fitzpatrick, secretary.
Bray Rafferty, vice chair.
Larry Dunn, chair.
Member.
Giselle Malloy, member.
Tom Olson, member. And Dave Prescott, staff.
And Ann is doing voting.
Voting.
Yeah, voting support for civic duty. So I guess we try to remind everyone to go vote.
Already
We
did.
haven't already did.
Already did.
Yeah,
Already
that's-
did.
I will be
Already-
tomorrow.
Oh.
This is one out of man. That's an interesting statistic here.
It's huge numbers.
Yeah,
Ahead of time.
65 million, that's like.
Wow.
It's so crazy.
Have voted already?
Yeah,
Voted already.
it's crazy numbers.
So we're not gonna know until Wednesday, Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah, probably Thursday.
So, you know, by the time they get through counting all the votes and then recounting the
Wow.
votes. So it's gonna be a fun
Interesting.
time for all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's not gonna be worthwhile staying up late tomorrow night, guys.
Yeah, so the whole blow by blow of the votes is meaningless.
Yeah, it's not, it's like. Okay, that's the roll call. Anyone out there just for,
No one yet. Oh, there you are.
oh, it's me, you gotta invite me in. And let's see, join as panelists, okay.
There you go.
All right, thank you. So the first item of business, approval of minutes.
I move we
from
approve the
October
minutes as
7th.
presented.
Any discussion, corrections, amendments? All right, without objection, the minutes are approved. Public communications, there is no public attendee. So we can move along with that. Too happy, aren't you?
I'm really good for move fast.
Okay.
we just-
Reported chair, I'll slow it down.
Okay, here we go.
All right, so I attended a meeting on October 23rd with Parks and Rec with Mark Ferry, Tabitha Wilson, Dave was also there, and Tom Olson was there. Now the short form is we discussed updates to be documented by Tabitha for the stewardship manual, which just came in today,
Okay,
which I did forward to you.
okay.
And I thought I have it on my computer. It is on the agenda. And it is just comments from them. So I'm comfortable with going through it, but there are comments. My net of the comments, and if you had a chance to look at it, I thought they're all fine. I didn't see anything that,
From my viewpoint, this is all with Michelle's in charge of it, so I'll let her, I have no other.
oh, she hasn't seen it yet, so I guess I won't speak for you, Michelle.
You just
So
speak for yourself.
I could speak for myself. They looked straightforward to me. Some were pretty good recommendations, but it wasn't a lot.
The only thing I would, in addition, comment that was that initially Tabitha had a significant misunderstanding of what was the scope of
Oh, right.
the manual. And so
Mhm.
we spent a lot of our meeting was recalibrating her relative to what our vision is for the manual and the whole program.
One of her comments was, this manual should be for all spaces, not just the parcels you identified. And technically, I don't have a problem with
They
that,
can apply to whatever they want.
but, right. But, you know, at least the focus we had is on the ones that we identified, 14. and I think-
Well, the manual itself doesn't even focus on those. The manual focuses on telling people what to do.
Right.
Yeah,
on
but
whatever
what
property they're
she-
on.
Her entering argument was, oh, we're just maintaining the trails.
Right.
I said,
No.
the parcel, none of these parcels have trails on them.
Right.
That's where you were, and then we had to go from there.
Yeah.
So,
So I will review the comments and I will put together a updated plan for the commission to approve next meeting.
All right. One of the things you didn't add was Zell's name on the front page.
Okay,
So I forgot to mention that to you. Let's see. All right, other things that she did identify is the trail fork, a couple of applications to help collect data while they were going on. She did say that manual's okay, but they suggested that that might be another one, provided links to those apps. Very clear that power equipment is not allowed by volunteers. So that needs to be stressed in there. We did offer, the Conservation Commission offered support for their budget process, which is going to, I guess, start from their perspective, from the Parks and Rec's perspective in late November. So we can talk about that when we get to our budget and other sections today. I did offer to see, they asked, is there any free education on how to maintain these parcels? So I did I did reach out to the Yukon and the Connecticut Land Conservation Council. And they all were positive, but they got fee-based courses, nothing free. So I haven't found anything free for them yet. We did have a side discussion on what I'm labeling Save the Spicer Beaches. Those two big beech trees that are at the Spicer House. They're what, we think at least over 100 years old.
Oh, easily.
So they were coming down.
Well,
Oh.
no, they did get a quote,
Take them down.
to try and save them, inject stuff and some.
They're gonna try.
They're gonna try to save them, and
Yep.
so I did reach out to GCA to see if there'd be willingness. I said, the Conservation Commission is not in the fundraising business, but they are. So I did suggest they were interested, and matter of fact, the people I spoke to said they would contribute, and I said I would contribute. So that's
Would you know what the cost overall is of the tree?
yes, the cost is $1,500 per tree per year.
Per year.
So it is, well, it's in line. I mean, I've got the people trying to save a birch tree in my big birch in my front yard. And it runs $300 a feeding and 150, I mean, it's there. I mean, it's up there. So that didn't seem unreasonable. So anyway, that's out there.
Can I ask if that's, do they have a sense for forever, each year having to do this, or is there sort of like a 3-year or 5-year plan?
Well, I think they're gonna start off with certainly the first year effort. And this is they got some experimental treatment. I guess, Bartlett.
Bartlett, yep.
Yeah, down south, they have a tree farm and where they do trials, etc. So they're gonna bring in some treatment, if you will, and try it for the first year. Now, obviously, it doesn't work. We're not gonna pour money down the drain, but it does look like there's support for, at least a year.
Yep.
To see if they can be saved. I mean, they are. I mean, if you've been by there, I mean, their beaches get these big, beautiful shapes and trees.
Mm. Yeah, I
Um,
know the trees.
That's something to look at. Okay, I did mention late November to kick off the budget discussion. We'll talk about that later. Okay, I did discuss one of the many meetings that come across the desk. So GCA did support attending the Connecticut Invasive Plant Working Group on October 29th. I did ask for a readout from them, and I don't see anyone here. So I will follow up and see if we can get a report back on what happened at that particular event. I did forward an October 2nd planners meeting presentation on green infrastructure to everyone. I also forwarded an invite, which is a follow-on to one of the Alliance projects, the Yale Divinity Living Village webinar. Is on October 9th, so I think I forwarded that. If anyone did anyone look at that and feel that they would want to attend that?
It was October 9th, that's over.
October 9th, yeah. No, today's October.
I say
November.
November.
Fourth.
I'm sorry, that must have been November. My
Okay.
error. I know that was a future one.
And
It
the,
was October 9th, and I asked if anyone attended.
and
I
the
don't know.
planners meeting was October 2nd or November 2nd? I don't
That
remember.
was October 2nd.
That was okay.
Yeah, no, that was. a
Yeah,
past
that one
I
did
thought
happen.
that the El Divinity one was a future one. But I could be mistaken there.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of educational material out there. On November 14th, there's a presentation discussion on the least expensive and most effective alternatives to our heat, flood, and stormwater pollution issues by Dr. Grabowski of Yukon. I think I sent that Zoom invite to
Mhm.
everyone. So that's a Zoom meeting. And that was my report. So let's see, start on this end, I guess.
Okay, I attended the ECCD annual meeting back this past month. At that meeting, couple people from Michelle Maitland from Groton Public Works and Sierra Patrick from the City Planning Department were both recognized for ECD for their support of the working groups and stuff that they've been doing with, particularly with the rain gardens and stuff. And then he also handed out this stormwater best management practices guidance manual that they've issued. If you want to pass that along, I brought an extra copy if anybody wants to keep it, go right ahead. Next on the list was that I've been approached by NER today and whether or not we want to sign up for a cleanup of the Birch Plain Creek area like we did this past year.
A different section or this?
Well, I'll have to, they just are looking for a date for, it's a 3 or 4 hour project, 1 day type of thing. This past year, we kind of delayed it till first week of June because of their scheduling and stuff. But they're willing to, they're making that earlier so that there's less plant interactions as far as so you can see the litter better. So I just was wondering, if anybody has objections or wants to get involved in that or has a proposed date or anything like that, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be telling them probably I'll do this again through BACWAC again, because it's on the list of things to do. BACWAC's leadership is changing for this, as Maura is getting out of it as of this annual meeting. I was her last meeting with her. So the next go around, there's a couple, another lady will be taking over from her. So I'll have to wait and see how that goes on, but that meeting is until December.
I imagine if you make it early to mid-spring, we might be able to get the College students to make it a field day for them.
A joint thing between
Yeah.
UConn and, yeah.
Yeah,
That was BACWAC last year that you did that. I think I went to that with you, but who was the?
This is NER is doing this, is the Lori from the NER is the person I dealt with. And I mean, she did so much more that the UConn kids were able to put together, but she did a great job. And because it was they use it as a team building thing for their staff, their summer staff folks and stuff. So, it worked out great. And they have a project to do, and Andre was there and got a lot of support this past year. So for a cleanup day. So I'll continue doing that then. I went and attended the Town of Groton Parks and Rec Soundscape Community Digital Navigation demonstration project. This was at Cop Park. It was run, they've hired this guy, Russ Meyer from Albany, New York at the Capital Region Nordic Alliance. What they work with the Paralympics, and they developed this software where you use an iPhone and then it kind of beeps and stuff, so you can tell where you're going if you're visually impaired and stuff. And it also then brings up, I'm at waypoint number 1. This is what you're seeing here, and a description and all this kind of stuff. It's all audio and stuff. So that is in place. And that was a demonstration to kind of work things out and see what it was by invitation. I got invited as a Tri-Town Trail person, but you were there, and for the planning and other people, there's one organization from the blind that was there, and one blind lady actually was using it and stuff. So so I'm just like, and what they plan on doing is a kickoff event of some sort. And so I kind of, suggested to Mark Berry that he may want to try to coordinate that with either the Connecticut Trails Day, like on the 1st of June, or do something, take a look at other options or contact Connecticut Forest and Parks, because the president and the Connecticut Trails Day guys both live in Groton here. So, as far as to do some outreach with Connecticut Forest and Parks too, as far as where they're going with this. So more to follow. I'm just, because I know we've sponsored in the past the Connecticut Trails Day walks at COP in particular, because I worked with Bray on that a couple of years ago. And that we may want to put this as an add-on and redo it again for this coming year, if we're interested in doing that. And then now you can have an add-on it. You can do the digital soundscape thing. I went to the Grasso Tech open house this past week, talked to the bioscience and environmental technology folks. We had mentioned something about, as far as the projects with the the Conn College folks. So I did get a point of contact. They're kind of interested that they are willing to support something. So I'll provide this to you. You can pass that down to her. Okay. I signed up for Kakiwik which is on the 16th, Saturday the 16th. I'll be going to that as I've gone in the past. I don't know if anybody else is going, but I got in before at the pre-registration date, so I get the lower cost. So if anybody has questions or comments for things I should be asking about, they kind of really done a better job this year of the tracks, as far as there's actually 4 tracks this year instead of 3. And as far as, trying to more focus in on conservation commissions, it's not so much inland wetland people.
It was used to be all inland. wetland.
It's all the sessions, but there is a better balance this year. So,
Okay.
and then I also attended the Go Groton event. Dave was there also for that. And I did link up with the CCOG person, this Emily Biggle, and asked her what's the status of the CCOG open space conservation plan, because that was supposed to have been out back in August, or July or August. They said they had some personnel problems, that it was approved last Tuesday, I think it was, or their last meeting, but it still has not been posted yet. So stand by for the regional open space conservation
should be
or open space plan. So just let you know, I'm tracking that also.
That's all you
Okay.
did, Tom?
I know, right?
That's all?
Well, I updated we are already on the agenda, I updated 14 of the stewardship plans too, so.
You're awesome.
We'll
Okay,
get to all those stewardship.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
okay, that's all I had.
Okay, so I did a couple things as well. Well, one, I'd like to thank Tom and Larry for helping me while you guys built the format for the tree advisory to reaching out to Mark Berry. Thank you. Appreciate that help. I haven't heard back any updates or anything. I'm assuming we're gonna be talking about it today.
Yeah.
Well.
I'll talk about it later.
Later.
We have a second, we have a.
Yep.
It's on the agenda.
Pre-advisory,
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's a good start, hopefully. And then I did attend a meeting with Kristen to go talk with David, Jason, I'm sorry, about hosting the environmental fair for Groton, and it was fun. I'm excited to start that process and looking forward to working with all the people. And then I also went to the Groton initiative.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good presentation. I liked how it was informative, as well as like we can actually like put in our input to that. Yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, I think I went to 2 eco-fair meetings and it's coming along. It seems like it's gelling up and taking shape. I think. Had we reported to you guys yet? The theme is energy. Did I mention that last meeting or no? Right?
I don't.
It's
It's
renewable
meeting.
energy.
Yeah, the theme is, the national theme is power to the people. So it's gonna be all about energy forms. So we're looking to have like a hall of energy, which will have representatives from the solar industry, the nuclear industry, the
Geothermal.
yeah, the heat pumps, and also I have a connection with the green energy guy. So So that's kind of the overarching theme. Everyone's really excited about it. And, there's 2 meetings. Yes, just anyway, so energy in action. So that's the key. We have more
Well-
vendors than last year.
Mhm.
Everyone's kind of coming on.
And what's the date?
It is I believe it's the 26th of April.
26th.
If it's
So
Thursday,
Saturday
yeah.
or
Yeah, it's Saturday, 26th.
yeah, okay. Same location, the library's thrilled, it's the best event they've ever hosted, the most well-attended event they've ever had.
More than,
More than a plastic thing?
no, more than
Yeah, anyway, they love it, so they're happy to have it again. And then I spent a day at the CRC up in Hartford, Connecticut Recyclers Coalition, and it was a long day. But the morning was just, there was different recyclers, there was a guy explaining anaerobic digestion, which we've learned about before. There was haulers who've acquired talking about the problems of the different types of waste, like bulky waste, rooftops, couches, all different kinds of waste that we don't always think about. There was one on canisters, which we don't think about that much. There's propane, there's butane, there's little camp stove canisters, so there'll have, a lot of talk about recycling that. There's a whole big section, and a lot of that is the collection problem, like where do you collect that stuff, because everybody doesn't necessarily want it. Then there's a whole section about tires, and there's lots and lots of tires produced, so it was interesting. Couple of methodologies. Probably the best method, it seems to be, if you can get buy-in from the haulers and the contractors. If you crunch it, if you tear apart the tires, take out the metal and the fabric and the different parts and mix it in with the road metal, the asphalt for the road metal, it actually has a huge positive impact on road longevity. In other words, it improves the heat capacity, the heat and cold, reduces cracking, and actually increases how, rubber, when the rubber meets the road, if both are rubber, they grip and stick better. So anyway, so that there are some solutions. And then another guy invented these, it's just in a kind of an angel investment stage, but these bricks, you take the recycled rubber, you make these big like rubber bricks, they're bouncy, and anyway, instead of on the edges of roads, how we now have the guardrails,
Yeah.
you use them for guardrails. So instead of impacting and crunching the car and spinning the car kind of bounces off.
Yeah.
So apparently, like, there's big investors, Goodyear, there's a lot of excitement about this, because this could just kind of use up all the old tire stock in a beneficial way. And then the whole afternoon was about solar panels, but by then I was sort of like fried. So it was they go into a lot of details about the method, because this is for recyclers, so they go into a lot of details about the methodology, like deep into that kind of stuff. But the afternoon was solar panels, and it seems that there is huge and exploding need. There's lots of good material in the solar panels. There's silver, there's aluminum, there's rare earth metals, there's glass, lots of good stuff. But as of yet, every municipality in every city and every town has no plan. So there's not a lot, there's no kind of coalescing direction in it yet, but there's talk of just, if you registered every panel on the way in, then that would help keep track, and then you could start to develop recycling, like viable recycling plans. And the other problem is that China with they're just producing these panels, and then they don't really have any interest in the end life of the panels. So that was a long day. So it was good, interesting. This is yeah, more on the Eagle Fair. And then I also spent a full day at the SALT conference at Conn College this last weekend. Smaller American Lawns Today, talking about the history of lawns and converting lawns into more meadow-like or less energy and chemical intensive spaces. Very good. It was very kind of nuts and bolts. How do you do it? How do you design it? How do you plant it? How do you kill the grass? It was just kind of a full day of like how to on that. And I think, well, that's all. The only thing is, and I attended probably a couple GCA meetings, and there's a question from GCA to Larry, because there was a lot of concern about the turf, the little, the microplastics from the turf.
Yep.
And I think there was a question about the impact, apparently the Shellfish Commission, or the, who is it, BACWAC, whoever's the code people don't really seem to care that much. They're like, well, we either get plastic and get chemicals or whatever, what's the difference? So anyway, which was kind of surprising, but they were questioning the impact on the eelgrass. So that might be an area where you could have some input on how would the microplastics runoff from the artificial turfs
And
impact
who's
the eelgrass.
architect on that?
Well, Eugenia
Oh,
is the big,
okay.
I have this much, so many pages. It's not really-
Is this just a future application of turf?
Well, no, you got turf, you
Yep, they
still
got
have two
turf now.
church, one at the middle school, and one over at Grasso.
But there's
they're
three, that
looking
they-
at
there's
new
three that they want to put in, and one in particular is right above, I think it's Fort Hill Brook. There's one that is gonna drain directly into one of the coves. And so that's of particular,
Well, yeah,
Alarm.
both of these other ones currently would be training into Fort Hill, going down into Mumford Cove.
sorry, so long.
I took a pass.
So salt is smaller
Small
area,
American lawns today.
smaller American lawns today.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is, I've been to more than one conference with them. They're generally pretty good conferences. There was co-sponsored by Wild Ones and the College Arboretum.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to the you said you passed, right? Yeah, I went to the Go Groton event as well, which I thought was awesome. And there's 2 projects in the College thing that are from that. So we will talk about that when we get to College.
All right. Next item is 6.1 open space inventory. One of the things that came out of the meeting with Parks and Rec was, we kind of said, well, how many acres does our 14 plans encompass? And
Mhm.
we got the calculation of 481 acres. And then I went in and refreshed my memory that the economic value model has a stewardship cost of $61 an acre, which is pretty close to what your thing is, which would be about $30,000 a year. Now that's kind of an incremental cost, so there's a lot of baseline costs. So when we get to the budgeting phase of this, it's not super expensive, but I'm kind of thinking, if we go in for a couple $100 grand or 250 grand, because they deal in FTE.
NFT, right?
So you're talking about 1 or 2 FTEs. 1 FTEs could be at least, what's the going rate? 150,000 per FTE?
Oh, I don't know. I actually don't know what the number is.
Okay. It's gonna be double what the kind of average salary is, so I'm assuming they're getting 60, 70, 60 grand maybe.
Yeah, I can get the numbers for
Yeah,
you.
so I mean, so that is a different number than these other ones, which to me tend to be more like volunteer numbers rather than municipality numbers, now that I think about it. Anywho, so that, just to let you know that all those acres add up to 481. Open space planning. Well, my thought on the planning side is we came out in 2019, 2020, when did we publish that? Sorry.
Well, December 2020.
December of 2020. So my thought is, and this is something Dave just kind of a tickler, that after we get done with the Groton 2035 plan, we go back and revisit and do an update. So that says that it'd be like 5-6 years. So for 2020, we're talking about 2026, 2027 to then update that. So I'm just kind of letting some long range planning, as I suspect that we should do that to keep things in sync. Now, to get our influence in the Groton 2035 plan, I did get a notice that on Monday, November 25th, there's going to be a joint commission kickoff, and this is something that I had pushed for. And I got agreement from the other 2 commission members, and John and company set it up. So my thanks to the town and staff, because I think it's a better way of trying to get things, because these things relate to each other, economic development and conservation and zoning, they got, these things interrelate to each other. Anywho. So that's gonna be up there, break into groups, participate in discussions. And then another workshop for the commission chairs are gonna place subsequent to that. Why didn't I put a date down?
December something.
Yeah, I think it's December
Yeah, I did.
fifth.
I wrote down what it was and when it was and where it is, but I didn't write down the date.
Let's see. Uh,
But there was.
December 3rd at 5 p.m. It's a Tuesday.
Now that one's for commission. So the first one is for all of us. The second one is
What's the first one? What's the date on the first one?
November 25th.
It's a Monday.
Like 4 or something.
4 to 5:30. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Food
Eh,
included.
Oh, yes, there will be
I already
food.
signed up.
Yeah. Oh, you signed up? You saw
Yeah.
Free food, you signed up?
Right now, signed up for sure. It's Kristen, Tom, and Ann.
I thought I signed
Okay.
up.
Oh, I sent in.
You were questionable. That's what I heard.
I said I was working my.
You may have sent yours on in too.
Yeah, I did.
I don't have it in front of me.
So
You might have.
So
Thought I
I'll send
did,
in my
but-
you can
notification.
mark me down as attending.
Oh, you are attending now?
Well, if it's in or not, I am planning on attending.
All right, excellent.
Mhm.
They'll be here, right?
I will be here.
That'll be-
Down the,
Yes.
in the other
All right,
room,
so
right?
Yeah, the big room.
In the big-
Okay.
Kristen, you're coming, right? Ann's coming.
Your town.
I'll try.
You gonna try?
I would
Try,
like to
try.
come, yes.
All right. Just
Who?
can you, the two of you, Brian and
Yes.
Sheila, can you confirm
Mhm.
with me or John or something like that for sure, or Shannon?
Wait, what's the?
Monday, the 25th
yep.
at 4 p.m.
25th or 23rd.
25th. It's a Monday.
Is it okay if I come like a few minutes?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah, I already told him I might be up for this.
I might be a couple minutes late.
And that's what, there's a lot of staff there, so it probably won't go too long over, right?
No, we're gonna keep it to,
No.
no, this is short.
Oh,
This is,
25th.
no, it's an hour and a half. We don't like to run over. No. Yeah.
Monday,
So, yeah.
Get home.
So
At
just,
4
just
o'clock.
confirm for sure, Brian and Giselle, like that you're going. I have everyone else confirmed, but just confirm for sure that you're gonna come.
Yes. I
Is
will
it-
come.
you're-
That's my
alright.
confirmation.
All right, Brian, confirm when you get a sec,
Right, so,
whenever.
so that means
That's
this is the last meeting before that meeting.
Yes.
Therefore, as you recall, we had identified the initiatives that we wanted to support. I think, well, was it last meeting we verified that?
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
That's what Deb told me.
Yeah, and we added the tree thing.
And we added the truth thing, yeah. That get documented, so is that in the minutes? Maybe?
Oh, is it in the minutes?
I don't know. I didn't do the minutes. So, let's see. The true.
Okay, I don't see anything about the trees.
I want to make sure I get it right.
So you're adding that as another topic.
No, it says right here that under budget support, it says the tree, we'll work on the tree inventory. This item will be on the December meeting agenda. So I think we're still kind of,
No, two different things.
That's a
Okay.
different issue. We added work this some, I don't remember the details. We added something about trees to our list of important things. We
Yeah, we
replaced
flipped out.
outreach.
Yeah, we flipped out.
We
outreach.
replaced outreach with
With trees.
tree support.
that doesn't look like it got reflected in the minutes.
No,
No.
I don't see it in there.
Or replace outreach with tree support, what are you calling it?
I don't remember.
Tree
advisory board?
No, well.
Well, it would be,
Yeah, reach and everything.
Let's see, what did I talk about? Was like, I wrote something down here.
this would be enhancing our.
Yeah, there's some
support
placing outreach
of,
here, for placing outreach. In our list.
Tree management? How's that?
Right.
Yeah, tree
Yeah, tree management, that's a good word.
Okay, tree management. And so the one thing I know that Deb asked, and you guys, it sounded like you were all confused about the outreach on our agenda versus the outreach in the P O C D. The outreach on our agenda was put on, I think almost 2 years ago
Yeah.
when I was on it, specifically for you all, for Conservation Commission outreach,
Okay.
not outreach for
The town.
the P O C D. So
Right.
it's for you guys to outreach your work and
Yeah,
kinda-
and
Right.
you know, like what she's doing with.
Right.
UConn and, yeah.
absolutely, yep.
I'm sorry, Concom.
Yes.
So, yeah, so what I'll do is, the reason I asked, what I'll do is I'll work up a handout for the November meeting that says, here's the priorities that we have come up with as a commission.
Right.
The handout, so that's why I wanted to double check. Let me go back in my notes. Somehow I thought it was, you're right, I missed it in the minutes, so.
And I'm not even seeing it in my notes to the minute, to the,
Yeah.
what we were talking about.
And so
I'll go back in my my notes.
But-
I'm sure I captured. it.
this
I
joint,
remember distinctly, that's what we did.
Yes, yeah, we.
so you can do that
Yeah.
handout, but that's not gonna be the way that the joint committee meeting is gonna be run. From what I understand, it's so however many you show up, they're trying to get one from every single, like, they're trying to get 3 members from every single commission.
Mhm.
That's the plan, so that at the very least, every group has 1 member from each commission to discuss certain different topics and whatnot that are coming up. So you can bring it, but I don't think it's however you want to do it. But it's not like you're not going to be presenting to them what your thoughts are. I'm just saying that.
I'm just saying is that we have agreed as a body to a set of priorities that we wanted to see
Right.
in there, and I will have it. Now,
Yes.
What happens, you're right, I'll
From there.
play it by
Yes. Yep.
ear during.
Yeah, and a lot of this goes back to, we learned a lot from doing the open space
Plan.
plan development back in the 2019-2020 timeframe. And one of the big things we learned was that the last POCD didn't really get, it says plan of conservation, but there didn't look like there's very much conservation input into what was presented in what made it through the final thing. And I think that's where we're trying to say is that we saw all these different areas where we see that we have value to add to the upcoming plan revision, and that's going, we've been kind of keeping track of everything.
Right. I think it's a good idea to have that handout for us. So that
Yeah.
at each
Yes.
table, we have a reminder of what we all agreed we wanted
Yeah.
to
No, no,
emphasize.
And I did find in my notes that we did approve dropping outreach and adding trees here.
How many groups will there be? Do you know? How many breakout workshop groups?
3.
Three.
Okay, so if we have like 6 people there, then
So
we can
two
have
people
2 in
each-
each group. That'd be great.
Okay.
So I will redocument that. I'll send it out to you guys.
Okay.
I'll probably send it to John. Just to say, just a reminder, John, this is what we have
Mhm.
talked to, and this is what we're gonna be pushing during whoever you, which you run the meeting.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, I will do that. Okay, that's Theo's Groton 2035. Excuse me, I'm still
No,
it's-
No, that's right. See, hey, see it's changed in there.
changes one.
Yep.
All right.
Good job, though, Larry. Trying to get good about calling it Groton 2035.
I'm trying.
That's good.
6.4 budget support. I did mention that we wanted support. Parks and Rec, as we did last time, but maybe be a little more pushy this time. And then as part of our outreach to go, just because it's not a thing, doesn't mean we're not gonna do it, is get the message out once we've come to a recommendation into Parks and Rec to get it out to all of the, I think we got 11 or 12 groups that are kind of interlinked with conservation in the Groton area. So I want to put, so when we figure out what we want to recommend, then what I want to do is take that and push it out to the to the community conservation groups to organize their support at the appropriate budget meetings. But
But the most critical one of that is the public hearing at the beginning of the process. Once the town, there's 2 parts. There's the town manager does his thing and puts them, and then he's going and setting that internally to the planning office, Parks and Recs, and that's where they're going to provide inputs. And that was all last year's we got all that taken into account. That worked well. It went into Parks and Rec, and the only thing, it was it was whacked because they were looking for things to whack along the way, but it was, a lot of that was restored when it went to the RTM. So they did get it, pretty much everything that they wanted in the budget process last time.
Yeah.
Now, could there have been more?
Yeah,
Yes.
they were reticent to ask for what they really need, because they're
Yeah.
still telling us they don't have enough resources to support
Yeah.
the stewardship that we got.
Yeah.
So that's.
That's the
we're-
frustration we have.
Right, so that was our frustration, so
Yeah.
we wanted to push it says, ask for more.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what we wanted, so again, it would be. You know, now that we know, gee, if we want to support 481 acres, we can go ask for everything, come up with a number of FTEs as input. And then go from there, and have that meeting in November and then see what happens with Mark. But regardless of what happens with Mark, I still want to take our recommendation and go out to the community and say, guys, you know, we buy this property, but if we don't maintain it, we erode the value of, you know, the conservation impact of it.
Hmm.
And I've been trying to find some metrics of reduction in value of the economic model thought process that says as invasive species overtake the forest, what happens. About the only thing I've found, other than generic statements, is studies about the age of forest, the size of the trees, the different and economic impact, and I suppose I can. It was built to say, as the forest grows older, it gets, you know, better in terms of the carbon sequestration. So what I do is just, I thought is to flip it and say, as invasive species kill the trees, then we're really gonna go down that hill. So I gotta think about using that data, because I haven't, unless somebody else finds it, I haven't found anything that says invasive species take over. Here's the actual impact on the environment as a result of that. It's just a lot of stuff about it's bad, but nothing
Mhm.
quantitative.
Quantitative, yeah.
And I like quantitative stuff,
Yeah.
because if we want to say spend $200,000, then it says, guys, we're, you know, technically we're losing some amount of money in losing carbon sequestration and basically wasting the money we invested in buying the land to begin with. So that's what I'm kind of thinking of how to structure that, yeah.
It was an interesting tidbit at this thing I was at the SALT conference. Their point is that actually there's more carbon sequestration in roots in grasslands and so on, because it can go like 15 feet down to the ground and it stays there, whereas trees, they grow, they fall, they die, that carbon comes back into the cycle, but the stuff that goes down in the ground becomes incorporated into, you know, little organisms and the soil itself. So there's actually that's a better carbon sink than supposedly a forest. So I don't know. It's more permanent, you know?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to, how you're trying to capture the carbon
Right.
too. The one thing I think, since we're talking budget process here, one thing we have to take a look at from the Parks and Rec perspective. If they're gonna want to increase it, we can provide them inputs as far as on how to justify it.
Right.
But, and this is a question to you, is when the town manager puts his budget request out, does he already cap these individual departments?
I
Is
don't
that-
know for sure, but I would think no, like you wouldn't really cap it. You would like, you throw everything in there at first.
Just tell me what you want.
Well, see,
I mean, within, I mean, if you can justify it, you
Mhm.
could put it in there. It doesn't mean it's gonna get passed by the council or anything
Yeah.
like that, but that's the kind of the first cut. What do you need?
Mhm.
You know, in order to succeed.
What
So,
do you need and why?
and why, right, exactly. Yep.
So that, I want to get into
Yeah.
that first.
Well, I just trying to get a better feel for what, because we have not taken a look at the details of the budget process to better inject ourselves into that process. And you got to really start at the very beginning of that process, which is when the town manager issues his letter to the various department heads, actually seeing what the constraints are that you can work within is critical to that.
Maybe that suggests a meeting with the town manager. What do you think?
He's our boss.
I know, I'm just thinking through.
I'm just, I'm trying to put it in the bigger perspective, having done a lot of budget work for the
Yeah,
government.
and and I've done a lot of budget work in the private
Yes, I-
sector,
yeah.
and usually you put in whatever you can.
Well, that's
And then
why I
you
asked the
then
question
think
if he's
of that.
capping things to these different departments, because he has a feel what he thinks is the town council, so that he gets beat up less, okay, because he's already bringing in a budget that's near their envision, because this is the second time around for these guys, so it's gonna be a little bit easier for him to sell something, per se, and it's gonna be harder for him to increase because they didn't like what happened last time, okay?
So 2 years, so let's see, so
So they'll be up for election next
that's
November.
what I'm just going through, right?
Yeah.
They'll be up for election in 2025.
Right,
So that means this budget cycle
yeah.
has a political
Well, yes and no.
aspect. It always does.
It had a political aspect last year. Nobody wants to raise taxes. Okay, let's be brutally honest. And so they always have that mindset going in, okay? But the reality is, how much can I reasonably go up? Okay, and how much is left in the leftover pot? That's the last argument. If you listen to last week's town council committee of the whole, it was all about allocations as far as on how of the reserves that they have. They got more money than they know what to do with right now. They were arguing about what number do I keep it at 20%, 25%, 27%? What's my fiscal reserve that I'm going, and do I want to allocate those reserves? You got a couple of them that want to, we're going to put this much for Sutton Park. We're going to put this much already set aside for human services, that type of stuff. So they're already figuring out what from a town council perspective on how to handle all this stuff and all the excess monies. Okay.
But you're starting from a known quantity. In other words, it's not
Yeah, this year's
It's
budget
not
that
an
got
open-
approved, because we
yeah.
know that
And
sells.
what's changed?
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
and so how much delta can you do from that? What, if you're gonna want to do something new, what are you gonna stop doing?
right.
Mm.
Okay.
Or you justify it,
Just,
like.
Or you justify it and making sure you're gonna be able to sell that to the taxpayer.
right, which is why I want to get all these other groups.
Yeah.
To echo. A
Oh,
recommendation.
I agree with that.
Support the,
Yeah.
anyway, okay. So we have to work, yeah.
On top of all this, where is the referendums come in? In other words,
Nobody wants to go to referendum. There's zero talk of that at these town council meetings.
so, well, when you look at the Parks and Rec big plan,
That, if you go, yeah, if,
that I'm assuming that they're peddling it right now to get acceptance for it. It's
yeah,
gonna cost,
45 to 50 million bucks, yeah.
right,
That's when they're gonna consider, do I want to go down the referendum route, or how I want to handle funding it, or do I piecemeal it year by year?
Yeah.
As CIPs.
Hmm.
Okay. So,
but in other words, if a referendum's coming up, what is the impact on the overall budget and the money that you, right?
it's very squishy right now, because Mark in the Parks and Rec people aren't advocating going down they're not talking money at all, to be honest with you. They rely on the estimates that are provided by their support contractor. And he actually makes the presentation to the town council as they're updating things, for whether it's Sutton Park, the community center, Claude Chester, you name it. They have nice plans and stuff, and estimates in the 40 to 50 million dollar range.
It's a lot.
Yeah. But how to go pay for it, that's not talked about at all. Or at least not yet.
And they also never put in maintenance costs after you build the damn thing, which
Right.
always bothers me. Anywho, all right, so, got work to do on that. Coming up in terms of the budget cycle and our input to that. Oh, so other than the Parks and Rep CIP, are there any other CIPs that we want? We made the decision not to ask for more money to acquire land. And I assume that we're still in that, we're going for
Let's
stewardship.
figure out how to take care of what we have.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. So are there any other areas in,
Well, you're
Town
talking
budget.
about the town going after a piece of property.
yes,
We're not advocating.
yes, right.
Right. I think at some point, Tom and I had a little short discussion about a piece of property next to Pequot Woods. And the question I had in my mind is, when was the last time we looked at connecting pieces of property with the open space we already have to make connections, north and south runs and so
We
forth?
did that analysis when we built the money with the.
Right.
Plan, right?
But have we reviewed it in any form as other entities like GOSA making future land purchases along the way as being in harmony for what our goals are? And I don't know if they are.
I could say that I attended the Groton Open Space Association land acquisition meeting this past week, and they reviewed all the parcels that they're looking at, including this one that's abutting Pequot Woods, and everything was put onto a watch list because there's issues with each one. And there's some advocacy with the state to go talk to them on some parcels around Candlewood Hill, for example, and then budding parcel there. But their GOSA at this time is not pursuing anything from an active thing. They have, there's one parcel that butts their parcel at along Center Groton along Route 117 at the Ledyard line, that a person approached them asking, and they will go pursue talking, that was the only thing that they're taking action on right now. And part of that is they're still waiting to have all their surveys done, because there's a lot of issues from a survey perspective on this newest property that they procured at Center Groton. Because of the age of the deeds, there was nothing ever close, and there's issues right now where there's GOSA saying that they own property that's currently the town thinks they own. There's well rights and stuff. It's a real mess.
Wow.
And so there's a lot. They're going to get through all that before they really go on getting other things going, because they only can do so much. They're not that large an organization. It's all volunteers. So, but more to follow. But as far as from the town perspective, the only one that that GOSA looked at was the same. They reviewed what we had written up about the golf course down at Birch Plain Creek. They support that it should be, somebody should go after it, but at this time that they did not express an interest at this one, because it's just particularly if it's being sold right now as all 5 parcels, they would only be interested, again, just like we are kind of somewhat interested in the parcel along the water. But and so they're just putting it on a watch list. They're not going to try to go be proactive on it, because they're also saying, well, the town, what's the town want relative to these fields, potential fields there where the golf range is right alongside the High Rock Road. They'd be ideal type of, because they're already flat, they're already leveled out, because they have the driving range there and stuff. If you want to slap in a field of some sort and open up that area, because there's nothing down there. That's kind of a desert area for any type of either for the city or for the town in that area for playgrounds or whatever. So, but I don't think at this point Parks and Rec is ready, because they're not. If they were to go look at a referendum, they could easily tack on an acquisition area. But right now, their total focus, and I think this is we went to some folks have gone to the presentation that they had, or at least watched it. Their total focus right now is on the Sutton Field Pequannock Plains campus area there, as far as on where it's trying to upgrade those fields, as well as Claude Chester. That's their focus area right now. And I think they're kind of getting overwhelmed with how to make all that happen relative to going after anything else at this time. So it's just it's not good timing for the town at this point. And I haven't seen anybody have an interest in showing interest in it in the airport area.
We're all in alignment.
Yeah.
Let's focus on maintaining what we got. Okay. All right, so I have not heard anything other than what we talked about for any additional CIP to pursue as part of the budget process. Is that correct?
This is a tree CIP you're talking about.
No,
Well,
vacant
No, we're
It's-
still-
discussing that in December.
No.
He's on vacant land.
Well, no, he's going on, well,
Well, I'm on.
you're on
budget
budget support.
Oh, we're still budget.
But
support.
then you-
And I said, we've talked about one CIP for stewardship of
Yes.
the parcels. And, and any other line item CIP.
Because I don't know, was Parks and Rec, I was under the impression Parks and Rec was putting it together a CIP to execute the tree management plan.
Well, as part of our tree advisory thing.
Yeah.
We should address that under that.
Well, this is a
section.
budget issue.
Well, but
It's a
it
Parks and Rec
becomes-
budget issue.
So
So,
that's a
The
valid point.
crossover issue.
yeah.
It's a crossover issue, so. I guess we should add in there that we should review. The CIP to execute the tree plan as part of our advisory responsibility. Okay. So add. Tree. Okay, so that's two. Let's see, vacant land review. I have no update unless Dave, you have heard anything new? The RFPs went out, I understand.
RFP for Groton Heights went out. That went out in early October. It closes December 2nd. The Pleasant Valley School one should be released either this week. What I've heard is either this week or next.
That's what they advertised.
What? Yeah, that's what.
Because it
It's
went
early.
back to the committee of the whole last week, so. An update.
Okay. The next topic is Connecticut College projects.
You want to share the screen and bring it up?
Yep. Share.
Yes, yeah, I
So
saw
on stewardship.
on multiple of them, I saw. I was gonna bring it up.
Okay. So, I took your memo, I added Deanne's input
Okay,
to it, et cetera. So this is a superset versus what is exactly in the
Okay.
agenda. That she added stuff more at the back end.
okay,
Some of these items were my comments, I threw them there.
okay.
So I'll turn it over to you and I guess they're by sections. So this is the
Yep.
first one.
Right, so. Right, so you're gonna need to send me the document that has these things in it that are not in what I had,
Okay.
so. All right, so basically I have 1, 2, 5, 6 suggested topics, to take to Jen for the students. The first one is an easy one because it's the third time we're doing it. And I think we all already sort of agreed we want to offer this as a topic, right? And that's assisting with, are they calling it Eco Fair now instead of Earth Day Fair?
It's always been the Earth Day Expo is what it was called.
Earth Day
Mhm.
Expo, okay,
Official.
Expo.
That's hard to remember.
Um,
Earth Day is kind of fits but anyway.
So I guess as we go through these, just if anybody has any questions or comments, or you can do a markup and send me comments or whatever. So I'm not gonna go through the details of each one. I'm gonna just go overview and then we can then circle back if we have to. So the next two are brand new, and those are the ones that the ideas that came from our discussions at the Get Outdoors Groton meeting. And so the first one is to develop nature backpacks for lending at the library. And Tom found out, or Dave found out, somebody found out that the library is already doing this. They have, or maybe it was Megan that found out. Anyway, so the library is already into this. So they've got 2 that they're already preparing or getting ready to have available for lending. And so Megan suggested that we have the students design the packs that are, they're for students to take to our property, so our town property specific themes.
Okay, that was kind of my question.
Yeah.
These are parcel specific
Right, the idea would be for the packs that we design to be specific for us, like say you have a, Pequot Woods backpack. And so it's, here's, here's stuff, a map of it and maybe binoculars or magnifying glass. or
Question,
what-
given,
yes.
given what Tom said about the new technology
Mhm.
from,
Soundscapes.
yeah,
That was such a good
is
one.
that something that could be considered to be part of the backpack?
Could be. I mean, I'm not gonna, doesn't make sense to put any details in here. The point, because let the students figure that out, right?
No, no,
So,
no, I'm just,
right,
but I'm
yeah.
saying they don't know what they don't know.
well, wait until we see if somebody picks it and then talk to them about
Yeah.
what might happen. Right, so it's the concept we're selling, not the details. So the concept is, hey, do you want to put together backpacks for students for families to go to the library, check out a backpack and go play in one of our properties with the stuff that's in the backpack. And they get to help, and we can advise them on possibilities
Okay.
if they decide they want to play with that concept. So that's one concept. And then the second one was one of the big issues that Go Groton is presenting is to have nature playscapes at the school. So have the school include in the school playground, have it be more of a nature scape concept. And there are examples available from other places that have done this. So there's a lot of information available for the students to work with. So it's, do they want to work with the concept of figuring out what the property's like at the schools and what might happen and, give us some ideas for making them into playscapes. So those are the two ideas that came from the Go Groton. And Megan agreed to be the staff POC for both of those projects. So then the next thing is the next step in the stewardship of town open space. And the idea would be to, now that we have a stewardship manual that the town staff agrees with, then what would be the next step working with the town to implement or beta test or whatever? And I think when we talked with them, when I was in the meetings, I don't know what happened since I was at the next meeting, but the meeting before that, they talked about being willing to beta test a property.
Well, that
Um,
never came up as far as
yeah.
this last meeting.
Okay, so at the last meeting, we talked with Mark and Tabitha. They agreed that it would make sense to pick a property and work with the manual and the property plan to start beta testing the process. And so, we sort of had that idea the last time with the students, but we weren't ready to do it because we didn't know about the town and their interaction. So I think we're closer to having a reasonable chance of beta testing a plan because we have the people involved that are actually going to work with this. So that's another one. And then to take the Groton 2035 plan and either pick a follow-on to the food security project or pick another area. And obviously after our meeting on the 25th, we'll have a better idea of, so I would keep in mind all three groups, keep in mind identifying possible projects that we could present to the students as topics, and we can just add those into this when we present it to the students. And then finally, the idea would be to continue the tree work either with other areas for trees, and this was the one that Bray suggested, or other areas that have to do with the tree study and our tree advisory board issues. So basically this one, to me, these last two have a lot of potential for more details, because I don't know for sure what would make a good sense for, so as much detail or ideas as we have before we take this to them in January. If, between now and January, if we can come up with more succinct, well, here's a possibility, here's a possibility, here's a possibility. But I think we can all agree on the general topics, because we've talked about those before. So I guess, those are the ones I've come up with so far. I guess the first question would be, are there any other high-level topic areas that we want to try to put together a project suggestion for?
Since the only thing I could think it would be the potential back whack cleanup type of thing like we did 2 years ago, but now that NER's doing it, it's probably better to.
Yeah, I think just offering that as a team building, hey, who wants to come help
Yeah,
clean up,
okay.
rather than,
Decide.
rather than,
Yeah.
because they're not gonna have any project management associated with
Yeah,
that, really.
right.
Other than getting their friends to come help clean up, I don't think that really,
No,
Yes.
I agree.
but offering that as a group activity is a really good idea.
Or that might be something for Grasso Tech.
But I mean, they can all, I mean, that's just it. It's just like, Tom's gonna organize it anyway and probably have UConn there. So just say, hey, we're all doing this cleanup on X day. Do you guys want to add a crew
Hmm.
to the cleanup?
I like a lot the idea. I like the follow-up because those projects last year, particularly the tree project and the food project were really, really good, I thought. And
Mhm.
it'd be really nice to build on that.
Yeah.
Like, just like we're building on the eco fair now for the third year.
Right.
because if we got some threads going through
Mhm.
some of these projects where they could just like move the ball forward.
Right.
I like the idea of some kind of, you know, creating some meadow somewhere, like the salt thing, but that maybe on the Con College campus, there may be, because the Con College campus already has a lot of, you know, sort of pollinator spaces, but there's a lot more space that is, they do, but there's a lot more. space that
Maricopa
isn't.
Island also.
Well,
Yeah, but I'm just saying if for the purpose of students learning the process and learning about it and managing a project, that might be, you know, a small area where they can actually physically get a result. Thought.
The concept sounds interesting, but how does that help Groton?
Oh, yeah, well, no, well, maybe make one over here somewhere, but I'm not gonna
Right.
be able to be involved in this, and I would have to be the contact person probably.
Right, so maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year.
I had an idea kind of bouncing off maybe best management practices. I remember when I was in school, we did projects of like, where would we think a best fit for a BMP would be? I've always had a good time with those guys, and like with the gardens, maybe you can add on top of that.
So
Just an
what do
idea.
you mean to add that to the project or to
Yeah.
have a separate project that's?
Just an
that-
idea, yeah. it was
No, I'm just trying to
Mhm,
figure
yeah.
out whether it would be something that in the design of the project, we have a best management practices part. Are you talking about having a separate project that's called best management
Oh.
practices?
Probably a separate project.
Okay,
like
then
best-
I need you to write up what that would look like.
Okay. I got you.
The only other comment I had, I think for the stewardship, you better put Tabitha Wilson instead of Mark Berry as
Okay.
the staff point of contact.
I was thinking that, but I couldn't remember what her last name was and I was in a hurry, so
No problem.
thank you. So Tabitha Wilson is right.
Yep.
Should I put them both or just Tabitha?
Tabitha's the one,
Yeah,
it's really
with
Tabitha
Tabitha.
that's in
Yeah.
charge
Okay.
of all the open space. That's her
Okay.
job title.
Got it. Perfect, thank you.
So, since you have to put it in January, we will have our January meeting before you have to submit.
Yes, we can talk about this one more
So
time
we have
before.
December and
Mhm.
January session.
Absolutely, yep.
That January 6th.
Yeah, I think so.
Hmm.
It's the first month.
Mhm.
So we have two more sessions before
Yes.
it's submitted, and,
Yes,
yeah, I mean, there's nothing final because the kids got.
No. but what I will do is, once I get something from Giselle, I'll send this to Jen as a heads up. And see if she has any feedback on what we're planning or whatever, so,
Yep, and I sent you the comments, what's up there.
Okay.
It's in your email.
thank you.
Okay.
I'll give you a couple weeks.
Yeah, I can get started on it very
Okay.
soon.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we have a whole slew of stuff. We had the draft of the stewardship manual. And you already said, okay, let you review the updates
Right,
and come back next meeting. So I was gonna do that here, but I can put that down for December.
right.
So we'll do the review of the updates for the manual in December. Dave.
Just for the record, Giselle's name is
Yes.
misspelled on the front of all of these documents.
My typo. Take the hit.
GISELLE, two L's. and-
Yes.
GISELLE.
Yes.
Okay.
So I will not include, because we try to figure out how to put all of the updates on there. I'm probably not gonna include those again in the
Thank
December,
you.
so you're gonna have to.
Oh,
go
he's talking
back.
about the management thing, not.
No, oh, okay,
Just
okay.
the
I didn't get to the next.
Oh,
one.
all right, all right, all right. That's what I'm like, wait,
Talking
wait.
about the manual.
Okay, all right, that's
Right.
good.
which-
all right.
Which is,
We
right,
will need to include the whole manual, yes.
Yeah, I know.
right, so that's the plan for that. We'll do
Okay, you
that
got
in December.
Yes.
December.
All right, now, we have a slew.
Yes, we do.
It's GISELLE.
Right, that's what I said.
Okay. 'Cause I said, okay, there's two.
This-
Okay, sorry.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
Kurt.
I don't care what you just fill me in.
Yeah,
Got
exactly.
it.
I apologize.
So now we have this slew of draft. Now, you look at those.
Larry,
and
you
you-
can take this down.
Oh, yes. Okay. Absolutely.
But you sent me the form that has all these
Said bad.
comments in it, right?
I thought I didn't give you.
Connection lot, oh, great.
That matters.
Here we go. Okay, so the thing is that there are probably two administrative updates to all of these
Mhm.
that Tom did. So let me, my suggestion would be is just have Tom talk about the updates
Yes,
and just approve them in mass because
yes,
it's
I
not.
agree.
yeah.
Good.
So Tom. would
But I
you-
had to include them all, just because, I mean, from a public, forward facing, this is what we're talking about, they all had to be in there. There was no way to divide them up, because people were like, where are the other, not that everyone's looking at it, but just from doing it the right way.
Yeah.
So-
yeah.
I don't-
Sorry, it was long, but didn't really have much choice.
Okay,
Okay, there's 12 plans here that I updated because up and for the two other ones had already been updated fairly last year. And so I took a look at everything. I added Giselle. I apologize for the misspelling. Then I went through each plan in big picture and identified it's a reference to a deed, okay, to put in there so that you knew where the either a map or the deed itself that gives you the property description in more detail, so you know where all the lines are if you had to do a survey type of thing. So I did put a reference in there, an additional appendix. I referenced that at the very beginning as an enclosure, attachment A to each parcel that didn't have one of those. And then that's the one that's referenced on our inventory as far as what the reference is. Then I left everything else the same as far as whatever was there was there. Then when I got down to the 10-year management recommendations in section 4, I left all the recommendations the same, except I added them in the management timeline. I updated all the dates because they all had expired. They're 22, 23 timeframe. So I pushed everything out to 26 for all of these. And then also added on each one of them a line item for conduct MS4 audit utilizing appendix B, because we'd already agreed to
We
that.
agreed to that, right.
We were going to update those as we reviewed them as each time. So that was added to each plan and then I just put a revision history line in there if it wasn't already in there. So it says like revision is a new section 6. It said November 24, updated added parcel deed and the MS4 information. So that was the only thing. It's all essentially administrative. There's nothing technical or policy or any of that type of stuff that was added. Everything was purely an administrative add to the plan.
so. in
I
sum-
move that we accept all of them
Second.
Any discussion?
with the fix of.
With the
Giselle's.
type
With
of
her
correct-
name
Thank you.
spelled correctly, yeah, right, okay.
I had to have something here to talk about.
Well, you have to have something, Tom. So, okay, so without objection, the approval would be to update, remove the draft. Get them to me, I will get them to IT and you. And get them to replace what's on the website and access. So, and I'll figure out how to get them to. I decided the easiest thing is just maybe slice it up into a bunch of emails and keep under the.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Right now, we're using a OneDrive, but if you want me to put them into a Dropbox, that you guys can get to, or do you have it?
We have an internal Dropbox, so
Oh,
we,
internal.
yeah,
okay.
with the internal.
That's, yeah, then getting
Sorry.
access to it. So it might just be easier for me to send them
I don't
5
send it-
emails. You know,
Okay.
they can handle it.
Okay.
They can.
Yeah.
But just give her, I would probably give Liz a heads up ahead of time that we have 12 stewardship plans that need to be updated on there. They're
Yeah.
all, whatever, 3 to 5,000, 10 to 6,000.
Well, some of them are a little bit big. It's all because they're so graphic intensive.
Right,
That's-
right.
Okay. All right, that was easier than you thought it was gonna be.
Well, now I understand better what you're saying. I'm like,
Okay.
wait, we're not going to do this now?
All right, 6.8 was outreach and we kind of. I guess we don't have anything, I guess.
Yeah, it
the
was
thought-
all in our, just everybody's route.
Yeah, should
reports were
we,
basically
should we
outreach.
delete that as a major topic? And just.
Well, I
document it?
think it's good to leave it
Yeah.
on the basic agenda, because there are
Yeah.
things that are coming along, whether this is where I would be talking about potential Trails Day
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
sponsorship
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
when we talk about our state, we say what we've done. This is for what would be planned or
Right.
whatever.
Planning forward, yes, I agree.
Future,
Definitely,
future
keep it,
outreach.
because we took it out of the P O C D as a priority.
But it's
But
different,
this
yeah.
is, this
This
is, I
is
mean, this is
different.
ongoing. for us. And just on the trail thing, like every year in about April, we say, oh, should we do a trail thing? Oh, it's kind of late. No. So maybe we might want to think about it sooner if we
Well,
actually want to do something.
Yeah. Well, it's based on when the Connecticut Forest and Parks puts their announcements out. And do you get those announcements? Because
No.
Oh,
But we-
I get them also. I do get them, and that's
We
what
don't have to
comes.
wait for the announcement to.
Well, no, I say
we're gonna-
you can't sign up before they open it up, and that's when the announcement comes out, says you can now sign up for Connecticut Trails Days for over this period, and then there's a cutoff date, because then they do the blast out to the rest of the state.
But we can agree we want to participate.
Right,
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
Right, that's all she said.
That could come out like,
December.
right after we've met and we don't meet for another month, and then, it's like.
When do they usually do that? Tom?
March, over the course of the
Alright,
month
so
of
let's-
March.
Let's put in for January,
January, that's better.
to discuss trail day
Day
participation.
sponsorship.
Get
Sponsorship,
ahead of it
whatever.
for once.
The other thing would be to change.
Is it Trails Day?
Connecticut Trails Day.
Yeah,
Connecticut
6.8 from outreach to Conservation Commission outreach. To answer the question before, that's not generic outreach. In conflict with.
Well, if you want to do that, we can do that.
Well, I.
We're just trying to keep you out of the impact from your bosses.
It's not, no, they don't have an issue with it.
Questions about. So I
Yeah.
just want to
Your boss.
specific. Okay, 6.9, tree advisory board. Ahem. Ahem.
After the meeting.
Let me structure my words here. I asked about the response to our input to Parks and Rec on the tree advisory board. And the formal response is, we have no response.
No, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I think his response was, I have a response coming. I haven't finished penning it.
I said yet.
Oh, well, all right,
yeah.
but it's not like we don't have a response, but it's still, they have a response. They just haven't penned it. Or yes,
Yes.
it's coming, yeah.
Yeah, and he wasn't willing to describe it at all.
Yeah,
Right.
Other than
It's
there
correct.
are staff
Mhm.
who disagree with our position.
Position, right.
Accurate.
So our letter
Okay.
didn't go over well.
Yep.
Not a
Yeah,
slam
there was a
dunk.
negative, there was a negative response, is the way I
Okay.
interpret that.
But we haven't, they said they're still taking under advisement, so.
Yeah, so we'll,
So the response will tell us why they don't like our.
Hopefully. This was our response, just to refresh everybody, we were assigned at the last meeting, Larry, Giselle and myself, to put a letter together, go to Parks and Rec, saying we disagree with the establishment of a tree commission. And
separate
a
treatment.
separate tree commission. We said we should be able to do that under, and we're willing to do it as the Conservation Commission under our already delegated responsibilities of Tree Advisory Board. And we were
Yeah,
kind of
I don't
surprised.
think
I was
they
kind of
would
surprised the
like it.
way he was very evasive about it and,
I don't.
We're offering to do work that they don't have to find anybody else to do.
I know.
Yeah,
What
I
do you not
didn't
like
get-
about that?
that's, and so, but he said that we sent him a letter, so he'll send us a letter back.
Okay.
Yes, yes, he wanted to be formal because we were formal,
Yes,
Okey-dokey.
which is fine.
which is fine.
That's fine.
Well,
Uh,
we'll see.
Yeah.
We offered the help.
Yep, we offered to help. Oh, I'm sorry, I had something else here. Oh. We already talked about it. I had. The help College if they would help expand the tree project, which we already talked about.
Right.
That was, all right, so that was.
Can I step back before we move forward? Because I realized so Tom handed me this card and made some comment about this being relative to the College projects, but I didn't quite catch what the connection,
Well, no, at last month's meeting, I
Right.
mentioned that, that the Connecticut, that the College students may need additional worker bees or any kind of stuff. And we said, well, what about, there's an environmental group at Grasso Tech. And so I asked them during
Okay.
the last week's open house that they had, are you willing to go support it? Oh, he said, we've done things like this, that type of stuff before, hadn't done it with College, but I'm the guy to
So
talk
They
to.
might be additional people.
Right,
to
as
interact
worker
with
bees
the
for them.
cadets- I mean, the cadets, the students,
The
sorry,
students,
the
yeah.
students on their projects.
Right.
Is that,
They would be an assistant. That's the point of contact.
got it. Thank you.
Okay. Section 8 is new business. It's almost 5 o'clock.
See,
Um,
really taking any time.
Something, I think
Yeah.
you and I received a letter from David Aldrich regarding a letter of support about the Prescott facility that they've gotten for their initial organic composting
I
facility.
do not recall getting it.
I thought I got it and you got it, and I'm just looking for it, and I can't find it. I was like, oh yeah, Larry got it, he'll have it in the agenda, he will have, we were supposed to, he's looking for, I think he's gotten licensing, permitting, and looking for a letter of support to, I don't know to who deep, but as I'm looking in my email right now, I can't figure out who it would have come from. So I don't
I
know,
would assume it come from Aldrich, right?
well, I'll look in there again.
I'll spend 1 second here looking at my email.
And they're gonna call it the Prescott composting facility?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, oh, maybe that's why I heard.
It's, they've gotten, as far as I understand, they've gotten the site, they've gotten,
Yes.
here it is, ehuffscare.org. Oh no, I guess, oh. Yeah, I have it here that you got Liz Chuff, Operations Manager. Do you want me to?
I got nothing after 11. No,
I'll
I got
forward
nothing.
this to you right now.
Okay.
But anyway, they were looking for you maybe could put it up on the screen, everybody can look at it. They were looking for a letter of support from us. I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't we? Elizabeth Chuff.
Is there a
Right now,
time
like
frame
on
on
that
this?
Comcast.net. Went to your Comcast email.
Get mail. Nothing's coming. Oh, there it is. Okay, let me. Letter of support.
I'll put it up on the screen.
Yep. Oh, that's the template. Hold on, let me bring up, I guess yeah, maybe that's the thing to do, put that up. No, I did not see this. Zoom. Share. Letter of support,
Request for support.
okay. So this is, I guess, a template for that support.
Maybe the previous,
Is this for their application to go after this USDA money?
Let me go see what he said in the letter.
So, I'm just looking at the SCARE website. They have a page that talks in regard to the progress towards a regional composting facility. It was in January of 24, they announced that the town of Preston Planning and Zoning approved their plan and that and the USDA went out, is announced that there's available funding.
Yeah.
For up
the
to
great
38.
advocate, They have a, well, Larry's gonna put up. Their,
Okay, this is the letter to us.
yeah, to you and me,
Right.
materials management.
Oh, LA done. No wonder I didn't get it. That's not my address.
Oh,
Okay,
it'd be good for them to know that.
yes, I will, yeah.
Put that up
Uh,
on the screen. Yeah.
yeah, it's there. Let me make it a little bigger.
Thank you.
There we go. How's that?
That's better.
Okay.
Food
Planning.
waste diversion.
Has to motion support the project. Requesting funds. Template letter be used to show your support for the project. Okay, now, I mean, we've had many sessions on this, Dave being here.
Mhm.
So we do support the project. We've been
Yes.
tracking the project. So,
He just needs a letter within the month.
Yeah, from the Conservation Commission, just a letter of support.
well, they even provided a.
Yeah,
template.
Yes.
those letters are all gonna sound really similar.
Well, I would do some customization, but.
Yeah.
So do we, are we?
This is their suggested one. All right, I guess my recommendation is that you and I can edit this to make it a little more personal for
Okay.
us. And,
Tomorrow,
Yeah, we could send it out.
tomorrow.
Are you traveling after that?
Tomorrow-
Yeah, Wednesday, I'm
tomorrow's
leaving
election
town.
day.
Yeah, I'm leaving town Wednesday, so.
Oh, you didn't, okay, we'll do it tomorrow. All right, so, well, after the meeting, we'll just pick a time.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so with the commission's approval,
We trust you.
we, we will draft something that looks something like this, but a little more personalized from our perspective, since we've been working with Dave for
Mm.
years now. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so without objection, so I guess that a motion?
Well, not really. You can't, I mean, you really need, you need
You need
a
to-
motion in a second. So I mean, if you'd like to make it official, then someone make a motion and someone second it, and then you can do that
Okay.
afterwards.
I'd like a motion to authorize,
Right.
You can make a motion, can't
You can make a motion, yeah.
oh, I can make, okay, make a motion that a subcommittee draft and execute a letter of support for Skira's grant application. All in favor?
Hi.
All right, unanimous. All
Yeah.
right, we'll just pick a time. Thank you. Any other new business?
Tell them the proper email.
And I got it, I have, yeah, correct email. Correct email. Wonder I
Timing
didn't
is
see it.
exquisite. My alarm is about to.
Yeah, cause I just don't like you to miss something.
Not like that.
Yeah.
Guess I'll turn it off.
Michelle, Michelle.
I was gonna say timing is exquisite because the alarm is about to go off. But we didn't get a report of staff. yet.
Oh.
I always get skipped. See how it happens?
Stamp.
I know.
What's on the
Jeez.
page?
It's gotta turn.
Oh, there it is. It's on the next page.
Oh, you're killing me here.
Sorry.
It's all right. So I just have two events coming up that one you may be aware of, one you may not. November 20th, 3 to 5 p.m. at Fort Trumbull. There is a workshop on ideas for Bluff Point restoration ideas. So that one is there. And
Is
then,
that open to public?
yes.
Yes, I'm already signed up for it.
I knew that. I would have known that. I'm like, Tom will already be on there. I know as soon as I said, like, Tom will be the one that knows about it. And then right after that, you go into the one right after it.
Which one's right after?
Oh, here we go. So community conversations are next in line. More about how Groton's role in housing development is going to be that evening. 5:45, Wednesday, November 20th, same night, at the Groton Middle School. Food will be provided. And yeah,
Okay.
all right. So you can
Mm.
go to both if you want. From one to the next.
20th.
It's,
My
the fourth,
birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's at the middle school. Yep.
At a time.
Hung out with friends, so I will not see you guys on the.
Where are you going?
Just out to dinner with friends.
Nice.
When
All right.
November
Any
20th.
feedback from a
Okay.
trip someone may have?
Oh,
taken?
yeah. Well, and we can do that off the record, but that's fine. But yeah, Michelle would like us to, there we go. I told you.
Second, we have a clean record of nominating one.
I know, you do.
Day today.
All right, all in
All right.
favor?
Aye.
Approved unanimously.
All right.
6:29.
Connecticut.
$6.99. Look at that. I'll end it.
29.